Hi cuties, my name is Azia and thank you so much for joining me today. As you may or may not know, I've been spending my entire quarantine pretty much drawing the entire time. Now I have Animal Crossing, so I may be spending some time on that as well, but I'm having a lot of fun making these PROCREATE drawing videos. They aren't getting that many views, but I really enjoy making them because I feel like I'm sharing something that I really enjoy making and that I truly love, and I feel like I'm also maybe teaching you some new tricks. So yeah, I love doing that and I hope you enjoy it too. Oh, and this video is going up a bit later than I expected because I've been working on this animation, if you can call it that. But with that said, let's start the video. The drawing that I'm going to show you today is actually a recreation of this drawing that I made in 2017. It was one of the first drawings where I painted with Copic markers, and it was also actually when I was first starting to experiment with kawaii fashion, so this drawing is quite important to me, so I was very happy to recreate it now that I've learned and practiced a lot more. I'm sorry I don't have the progress video of the very beginning part of the drawing. The base sketch was made quite a few months ago when I was doing a few pose studies, and it was before I even had PROCREATE, so it really didn't save any of the progress. I remember I used a photo of a Belgian dollars reference though, so I'll leave a link in the description for you to check it out. As you can probably tell by now, I am drawing a Kawaii Neko nurse. I suppose you can guess that the nurse part was inspired by the current times we are going through. As someone with a chronic condition, I've always looked up to nurses and their hard work, their dedication, and their kindness. They are some of the kindest people you will ever meet. And one thing is for sure, healthcare providers are working their hardest and they're risking their life every single day in order to bring comfort and sometimes straight up save the most fragile in our communities. So, hopefully, a cute drawing will make at least one of them smile and be reminded that we all consider them our heroes. The Neko part is due to a secret plan that I have for this drawing, and if everything goes well, part of the profit that hopefully that plan will bring will go straight towards the care and fostering of kittens in need. And finally, the kawaii part. If you follow me on my Instagram, or if you've been subscribed for a little while on my YouTube channel, you are not surprised, because I absolutely love kawaii things and everything pastel and cute, so yeah, I had to make it kawaii, I'm sorry. As I mentioned in the previous videos, the iPad that I'm using is the iPad 6th generation from 2018. I have been using it for almost 2 years, at least a year and a half, and I am pretty happy with it. However, I am looking into buying something with a bigger screen, especially because since this iPad is quite small, it puts a lot of strain on my neck, and that's not good because my EDS makes my joints quite fragile. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for a bigger and better one, please leave them in the comments below and I would be super happy. That was my shoulder popping. Perfect timing, I guess. I really like adding small details to the drawing, so probably the line art is the part of the drawing that takes the longest to complete, especially since I waste quite a lot of time redoing each line a few thousand times just to make sure it's right where I wanted it. The hair is without a doubt the part that takes the longest for me, especially since I'm a bit obsessed with drawing hair that has some kind of wavy hairstyle or curly. So, if you are frustrated when drawing hair, do not give up. You'll eventually get there. Since we are drawing a nurse, I must admit that I suffer from a horrible condition that affects many artists called I hate drawing background syndrome. And yeah, I do need to work a little on my backgrounds. Maybe a future video could be like that, maybe following a tutorial or something like that. But for this drawing, I really wanted to add some medical elements that would work both as a background and also as a kawaii frame around the main subject of the drawing, which is obviously the Neko nurse. I really like to add elements like these in drawings, whether it is like here as a background or in tattoos in the characters, because I feel like it really brings out the concept of the drawing. The brush I'm using is the technical pen. It's one of the inking brushes that comes with PROCREATE. I put the streamline all the way up so that the lines are a bit more fluid, and I taper it so that it looks a bit more sleek and nice and pointy, but you can use whatever brush you want. This is simply the one that I always use for the line art because it's the one that works the best for me. it's time for the coloring, aka my favorite part. The first thing that I do is to color everything in blocks, this way you can more or less see which colors work well together, and believe me, you really don't want to have to erase everything after you're done with the shadows and the lighting and everything, so color everything first, make sure you like the colors, and then you add the shadows and the lighting and all the finishing touches later. Pay attention now. The way that I do this is by adding a new empty layer under the line art one, and I set the line art as a reference. This way you could just drag and drop the colors to the new layer without messing or altering the line art at all. I do recommend, however, that you save the line art as a PNG file before you add any colors at all, just in case you may need it for later. A good way to make sure that all your blocks are colored is by setting the background to black or another dark color, because this way every little area that you may have forgotten to color, especially in white and other very light pastel shades, they will stick out as black. And believe me, it looks very creepy when your teeth or your whites of the eye are looking black, so yeah, that's my trick. Something that I've been doing lately with my drawings is something that tattoo artists often do with theirs, and that is, in order to make the main subject stand out a bit more, I make the outline a bit thicker. Now we are going to add some blushing and also some shadows, and to be honest, this is when the drawing really starts coming to life. The brushes that I'm using at this point do not come with PROCREATE, however. You'll need to download them, but don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description. The set is called Smudge Brush by Haze Long, and it's free to download, so if you're interested, you should definitely check it out. Not sponsored, but the good thing about these brushes is that they make it extremely easy to obtain smooth and soft shadows, shines, and blushings that give the drawing a lot of dimension and really bring it to life, even if you add blunter shadows later. For this, simply create a new layer over the color one, but under the line art one, keep that in mind, and then with a soft blend brush, add the shadow, the shine, or the blush shade, whichever place you think is the best. Then you take that soft blend brush, but with your skin tone, and you blend the edges around. To clean the lines and, make sure that you don't have blush on your hair, you can simply hide the color layer in the background and you erase any remains of color outside the areas that you want them. I used to draw eyes with a ton of elements to make them extra kawaii, but eventually I came to the conclusion that yeah, it looks cute in a drawing where you can only see the character's bust or even just their face, but it does get somewhat lost or even straight up muddy when you make it a full body or a 3/4 body, like in this case. For this exact reason, I made the eyes green to complement the rest of the drawing. I added some lashes shadow to make the lashes a bit more dimensional. I added several catch lights, and I also added a cute little heart because I couldn't help myself. I'm sorry. I know it seems to be a lot, but I think that it still works relatively well once it's zoomed out. Once I'm done with the skin and face, I add another layer to work on the hair this time. You can do it on the same layer, I'm not your mom, but I do recommend adding another layer so that when you're blending the colors, you don't make skin into hair and vice versa. Once you got that step down, continue with the same method as the skin, but this time follow the hair direction. A trick I started using quite a while ago to shade in white items in pastel drawings, like the apron and the hat in this case, is by using a blue undertone lilac shade. If I were to use a gray tone, it would probably mute the drawing quite a bit, so I prefer to simply blend some lilac into the areas where a shadow would be, and this way the drawing doesn't look as flat, but it still looks as soft and pastel as we want it to. One thing that I would suggest is that you don't forget to also blend in some lighter tones to give your drawing some shine. I feel like this is something that I really only started doing recently, but I also feel like it really added to my art style, so I will definitely continue doing it. Once you got that technique down, you just need to rinse and repeat it for the background. If you have a keen eye, you may have noticed that I also added some glitter over some parts of the drawing, mainly the eyeshadow, the lips, the dress and also most of the elements in the background. The glitter brush that I use also came in another free haze long set, so I'll leave the link in the description in case you're interested. Since the framing elements are already quite bold, I finished the drawing by adding a white grid over the pink background. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed the drawing and let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for a future one. Thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. My commissions are open, so if you'd like a custom drawing made by me, simply DM me on my Instagram. The link will be in the description down below, and it would mean the world to me if you could follow me there. Love you, kitties. Bye bye.